Hi friends, welcome to CodeNet, and today we want to try our best to understand how we can get content from the end user, and based on the knowledge we've had so far, we also would like to understand how we can create a simple calculator when it comes to C++. Of course, if you might need anything to understand anything before you proceed with the video, please check the description below. Now, from our discussion, of course, of cout, we said to see out something from the screen, we need to, of course, use the keyword cout, and then from there followed by the insertion operator, which are these, of course, two less than signs, of course, and then we need to have the double quotes, and then the content in between is what is displayed on the console or the black window. Now, when it comes to getting content from the end user or getting content from the keyboard, we need to use the keyword cin and then followed by the extraction operator, of course, the two greater than signs. Like cout, that's how cin works. You cout, then you cin. I'm sure you understand that these things, they sound similar to each other, and yes, that's the thing. Now, for we to get certain content from the end user, it means that content needs to be placed somewhere, and luckily we've understood how we can implement variables from our previous session. So now let's create a variable that will come and hold the content that will be received from the end user. So for we to create a variable, we said we should have a type, and so far we are still sticking to the type int. We get what type are we trying to make, the whole numbers thing related to that. That's what int means, because int is for integers. Then the name of the variable will say age, and then instead of saying age is equal to 56 or something related to that, we want this number to come from the end user, to come from the keyboard once they have been prompted to do so. So instead of assigning now, or instead of initializing now, we want that to come from the end user. So now, how will the end user know that I need to insert something inside this program? Well, of course, we should tell them to do so. And so far, we've learned that the cout can be used when we want to print out something on the screen. So we now say, since we want them to know that they need to add something, we now say enter your age. Please, let's try to be polite. Yes, of course. Enter your age, please. Now, since we've of course prompted the end user to enter the age and anything related to that, you can be controlling S to save, and if it's not saved, of course, you can control S and save in the folder that you want to save this program into. Of course, don't forget the extension should be .cpp, that's C++. So we've displayed now enter your age. We have told the end user they need to enter their age, and we've created a variable that will hold the age. Now, how do we give them access to enter something? Well, we've said cin is the keyword for that, plus don't forget the extraction operators, and of course, where do we now to place those things? It's in the variable called age, and of course we do that. Now, once we do that, we can go and of course compile and run, Control S to save, compile and run. Immediately we compile and run, of course you tell that the user will be asked the question enter your age, like it is saying. So what if I'm 77? Yeah, that sounds good. What if I am 77? It means I can now type on the keyboard, okay, I'm 77. If I'm 14, I can type I'm 14, and of course from there it means we've gotten the content from the end user. But what if now, for we to verify if yes, of course, the age as a variable is keeping the age from the end user, let's then print out and see if that is of course working out. So to print out, of course, we said we just cout that same placeholder from the previous video we've had. So the placeholder is now age. Of course, you've gotten the answer correct. So we are saying cout, of course, and then let's implement double quotes for we not to just display the number randomly, and say your age is Of course, let's do that. Let's come out of this double quotes and of course implement the insertion or the insertion of course operator, and of course from there we just say age since it is the placeholder, and then we end the line. So Control S, then let's go back, compile and run. Of course, what is your age, or enter your age, anything, it's all the question. And then let's say if it's 15, then immediately when you press on enter, there will be the line of code saying your age is 15. So it means we have successfully, of course, gotten the content from the end user, and at the same time we've even verified because we've printed out the same content from the end user. Let's try our best now to try and of course make a simple calculator for we now to have a more practical approach to getting content from the end user, creation of the variables, and of course displaying something now on the screen. So let's say cout, let's just put the title, now making a calculator. So let's just do that for we to now have an headline, because this will be displayed on the screen. Control S, and then let's now of course create at least 3 variables that will hold of course 2 numbers coming from the end user, and another variable that will hold the expression between the 2 numbers. We are just talking about a simple calculator that's based on the information we've learned so far. If we want, we can even implement a comment saying, now this is a calculator. So since we've done that, let's create now 3 variables to hold that. Then we'll say int num1. We can add a comma if we want now to initialize or to declare in the same line. Then we say num2, and then we can say answer. So we've more like of course specified, and we've created 3 variables that will hold the content that will be based on the calculator that we want to create. So now let's say since we are creating of course a calculator, we'll say cout, we want to tell the end user enter the first number. We want to see the basics of all the things we've learned so far, and then we say cin, because we've discussed that cin allows the user to type something from the keyboard. Cin num1. Of course, since we've gotten now the first number from the end user, let's copy this. Of course, you can even tell that this guy is lazy and the like. So enter now the second number. Enter now the second number, and of course here we can say, after entering the second number, we can say and change. You can, because if we use num1 from the previous video, we said if we use num1, then we'll overwrite the value that's in the first variable. So now we have to use num2. So now since we have num2, then we can say answer, we now assign answer is equal to num1 plus num2. That's a simple calculator, of course. Now let's see out for we to verify if this program is actually working. So let's say now cout, of course the double quotes for we to add some text. The answer is, go out, and then say answer, since answer is more like acting as a placeholder for the expression between num1 and num2. When they are added, the answer is being taken is being safe kept in answer as a variable. And then of course let's end the line. So you tell that our program of course starts from the edge where we were understanding the basics of cin, of course getting the content from the user. Compile and run and see if this program actually works. Okay, enter your age from of course the very basic, let's say 56. Okay, your age is 56. Your age is 56, but we are now creating a calculator. Enter the first number, let's say 6. enter the second number, let's say 8. So the answer is 14. So of course for now you can understand that yes, we've now understood on how we can of course work with the content that's coming from the end user. This is the basic calculator. Of course you can, if you want to remain just with the calculator, you can move the section to getting the edge and just remain with of course this code where you first enter the first number 78, enter the second number 56. Of course the answer is 134. So what have we discussed so far? Towards this conclude the video, we've discussed that we can of course declare any number of variables if for the fact that they are of the same type into the same line. Like we've said, num1 is of type int, num2 is of type int, num answer is of type int, because they're all keeping on numbers, and then you end with a semicolon. Then of course cout, enter the first number, just displays this content to the end user for him or her to be prompted of doing something. cin allows the user to type in and get the content. Enter the second number, of course cin num2 allows the user to type in and enter the second number, and of course the number will be assigned to num2. Answer as a variable created of int, of course just uses num1 plus num2. The answer between of course these two variables will be sent to the answer as a variable. cout, the answer is of course answer, then you end the line, and this is of course the very basics we could have when it comes to getting content from the user and a practical approach to cin, cout and the variables. Please don't forget to subscribe, and let's proceed on our next session, and you are of course on CodeNet.